people who are new to buying wireless systems, they hear a lot about frequencies and interference and that sort of thing, but how critical really is the frequency choice? Again, for someone who's not really sure what they're getting into with a wireless system.
Well, one of the things you need to look at when you're selecting a wireless microphone system is what we refer to as agility. For a system to be able to freely select from a number of frequencies that the system can operate on, so that if you go into a particular location to operate a wireless microphone system and a frequency that you're operating on happens to be being used by some other type of wireless system, that you have the ability of switching the system to operate on another frequency so that you can operate the system without getting interference. The Sony wireless systems offer you the ability to select from 188 different frequencies that you can operate a wireless system on. So frequency agility is a very important consideration when particularly if you have a wireless system that you're going to be moving around from one location to another, being able to operate that wireless system on various frequencies is very important. Some of the features that we implement into the system are the ability, for example, in the tuner, to be able to scan through those 188 frequencies and be able to find frequencies that are free and clear of any other transmission, confirming to you that those frequencies are available to use for a wireless microphone system. And those kinds of scanning and free frequency search features are just a kind of thing that just makes it easier to set up a system and find an available frequency to use. And then once a system is set up on a frequency that is available to use, then other things to look at include what the transmitter's power output capabilities are, what kind of working range you need, how much distance you need to be able to cover, distance meaning the distance between the transmitter and the receiver. If you need to be able to work, for an example, an entire auditorium and maybe ensure that you have 300 feet of working range, then you need to ensure that you have a transmitter that can output the proper amount of power to get that kind of job done.
Now, what kind of feedback do you get from your customers? How crowded is the wireless environment now? If you're touring in a major city, or if you're going on the road to some mid-sized venues, that sort of thing. I mean, just what are people walking into these days in the wireless environment?
Well, one of the things is in Sony's product offering is that we offer 4 different frequency blocks that people can operate in. So the only thing one needs to do is look at the geographical area you're going to be working in and finding out in that area what RF spectrum is in use by things like UHF television stations and so on, in order to properly select the frequency block that will provide for interference-free operation in that area. Yeah.
Is it getting more crowded?
It's not really more crowded at the moment. One of the things that's happened over the last couple of years is the introduction of digital television. Digital television have been added to the spectrum, and for an interim period of time, digital television will be broadcast in parallel with analog television. So there are more channels being consumed for this purpose. But after January 2009, the analog UHF television transmission will start being eliminated, and going forward with only the digital UHF television spectrum, and that will make more channels available for use for different purposes. So for an interim period of time where digital television is being broadcast in parallel with analog television, there will be some crowding to occur, but one just simply needs to look in the local areas that they're using and find out what frequencies and frequency blocks are available for use of a wireless microphone. And in general, unless you're using a very large number of wireless microphones in one location at one time, it's typically pretty easy to manage, being able to set up a system and find frequencies to operate in with very reliable operation.
Just one last question. How do you think that the passing of 2009 is going to affect the wireless industry? In terms of a wider spectrum being available, is that going to do anything to wireless, or do you think that's just going to mean more availability, or do you think that'll drive the technology development at all to take advantage of a wider spectrum of frequencies?
I don't see any fundamental change occurring with the use of wireless microphones as a result of some of the spectrum that's being changed around at that time. I mean, in general, over the last several years, in a wide number of applications, people have become familiar with the features and benefits that having a wireless microphone system offers them. So there's more and more and continues to be growing use of wireless microphones, and that will probably continue regardless of what's going on in the spectrum. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. I'm Joe Wallace at the Sony booth at Summer NAMM 2007 for Gearwire.com.